I wonder if that's going to go through.
You got yourself there. That was brilliant.
We'll see. We'll see.
Hello, Jack. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not bad. I'm drinking currently mint tea, which is actually quite nice. With just a little bit. I've run out of honey, so I've just put a little bit of brown sugar in there, just a tiny bit, just sweeten it up. It's nice.
I've been getting into honey lately. I put
Mm.
it on my breakfast. It's nice, just as a little bit, but and I'm measuring it out. It's not actually that much in terms of calories and stuff either, so it's fine.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like remember the serving size that says on the bottle is not the whole bottle. Like that doesn't count.
I know it's so easy. I've got the squirty one as well, so it's easy to just keep going.
You keep
Yeah.
going, yeah. No, I usually put like a teaspoon on there. But you know, like when you speak to clients and they trick, like everyone does it. Anyone who's ever tracked food has done this. They've kind of tricked the system. Whereas essentially what you're doing is fucking up your results by thinking this can count as a teaspoon, or that can count as a cup, or that can count as like 100 grams. Well, what I do is get the teaspoon really, really hot so things just slide off of it, and I squirt the honey on it. And basically, because the first bit just slides off a little bit, it's still a teaspoon of honey, right?
See, I don't. That's why I do everything by scale. And I have the scales. I have a mini scales out, my breakfast on it, and then I squat it on, and then I put the exact number in. I have to do it that way because I would be. It's only because I'm a little cheater. Like if I play a board game, I will cheat to win. Like that's because I don't consider it cheating. If you can't catch me doing it, it's not my fault that you're not as smart as I am. So I'll I'll cheat to win. But I will do that with my calories if there's a secret way of doing it, I'll do it. So hence, yeah.
Okay, well, that's fair enough.
Mm.
Before we carry on with the intros, guys, I am Jack Buffrey. This is Josh Parkin. This is the Horizon Strength podcast. And we're all about making you stronger so you can have more interesting hobbies that give you a more interesting life and you can go out there and do fun shit.
Exactly, and we've already been doing that this year. We've hiked the length of Dartmoor. You're training for an ultra marathon. I'm training for an ultra swim. What else have we done? Oh, we've done Dartmoor twice this year. Actually,
We have done Dartmoor twice this year. We've done the
Yeah.
castle to castle, which is fun. So that was good.
Lots of kayaking.
Lots of kayaking, lots of swimming outside of that. Yeah, it's been quite a fun year so far. I was thinking this earlier on though, because we were talking about what we're going to be doing in the winter, and I'm like, wow, I'm not going to get into the training side of things now. That's for a future episode, but I'm going to get into climbing again. That's something I've been missing, and I'm looking forward to, like, as soon as the weather turns bad, I'm back in the climbing gym because it's going to help a few other goals I have as well, working on that grip strength, which is going to be nice. So, yeah,
I do.
Picking that back up.
I do miss the climbing, and in about 12 to 15 weeks, climbing should feel a lot easier for me as well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But today, Jack, we're going to be talking about something that is inside the Adventure Ready Strength Club. And for those that you don't know, the Adventure Ready Strength Club is our online community where we have challenges, the Adventure Ready rolling program, but we also have multiple specific 12-week training programs, which are, this is our community here. In the classroom, if you scroll down, you'll find a specific program called Hiking Strength. Now, this has specifically two 12-week programs in there, which are a strength-specific program and an endurance-specific program. So maybe you need to get stronger, or maybe you need to improve on that cardio and that long-distance hiking. And these are two 12-week programs specifically. And we're going to go through that today, because why not? We thought we'd talk about one and the other every now and again. We have a lot of people we know that like a bit of hiking. There are a lot of people initially that came into our community were hikers, and so we designed some programs specifically for hikers. So yeah, we're going to go over that today.
Nice. So yeah, Josh wrote this program and it is superb. Basically, I think the best place to start is what can people expect to get out of this program if they start it now? What can they expect?
essentially for the end of it, that your legs to never ever be a problem ever again with your hiking. It's essentially, if you're worried about your knees, you're worried about your quads, your calves, your hamstrings, your glutes, that will never ever ever be a problem ever again after this 12-week program.
Do you know what just came into my mind when you said that? I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you're going to get it as soon as I say the line, I promise you I will never die. Do you know what that's from? That's what came into my head when you just said that. But yes, it is good. That is a great expectation. So what if people are already hiking, and they see themselves as good in being good at endurance and stuff like that? What else can they expect? What can they expect from either side of them, and any kind of combination of them?
Well, this is why we have the two different 12-week programs. There's one if there's people that hike quite a lot generally, so they've already got that kind of endurance in place. Their cardio is quite good. The strength program is perfect for them because not only is it going to obviously improve their strength, so they're going to get stronger. Maybe they can handle heavier loads. They can handle harder inclines, bigger mountains, for instance. But it's also going to reduce the risk of injury, which is super, super important. The stronger we are, the denser our bones are, the more muscle mass we have, the less injury we're going to potentially get. So that's essentially where the strength program goes in. And it's also, this is something we've talked about a bit, is that quite often we know it's important to train in the gym. We know it's important to do weights. But if you're just going and not really knowing why you're going, it can be kind of boring. Mm-hmm. But if you have a plan specifically aligned with the hobby and the thing that you are passionate about, you're going to be more likely to go to the gym, right? And this one is quite intense and it is quite specific, but it is aligned with hiking. So you will get stronger off of it and it will help you with your hiking. One thing I want to point out to people before they start these programs is what we have created a couple of supplementary, what's the word? Bits of info to help them out with their thing. So we have because it can be hard to understand what all the numbers mean. So there is a heart rate zone chart. So in the endurance program, it tell you what heart rate you should be in for that workout. So we have a chart there to show you all of that stuff. We have an RPE chart, which is rate of perceived exertion, essentially how hard you should be working at. That's there as well. And we have fueling strategies for zone types. So if you're doing a zone 2 session, how should you be fueling that session? If you're doing a zone 4 session, how should you be fueling that session? So you're never really having to guess. We've got all that information there for you, which is good.
I think one key thing to point out now is that let's say you go to the gym already, but you don't train specifically for anything, like you were saying, Josh, like some people just going without a goal. Strength always makes stuff easier, right? Especially physical stuff, obviously. Stronger people are harder to break. And basically, if you're getting specifically strong for hiking, that's just going to make it easier. Even if you've already got a good base level, even if you do a lot of hiking and gym work already, if you're not doing the gym work specifically for the hiking, I guarantee this program is going to help you still feel better after any kind of hike.
Yeah, exactly. So if we delve into the strength program, that is 3 phases of the strength program, which is essentially 4-week blocks. And this is kind of how we approach a lot of our training when it comes to programming. And the first phase is accumulation. Now, for people that don't know what that means we get our body used to volume. So the amount of it's usually a bit higher in repetitions, and we get our body used to taking on load for a certain amount of time and adapting to reps. So other people might call it adaptation, accumulation, adaptation, a lot of different words for that. But the general focus is going to be as I said, a lot of legs. So back squats are in there, deadlifts are in there. The reason back squats and deadlifts are in there is they're the biggest bang for your buck initially in terms of getting the most out of your quads and core and getting the most out of your posterior chain, which is your hamstring, glutes, lower back, all of that sort of stuff. And then also we have some farmer's walks, side planks, stuff like that. So it's trying to hit our core, upper back for while we're carrying stuff. Is a minimal upper body in this program because it's really focused on all the stuff that's we really need while we're hiking and our core stability while we're doing it. So that'll be phase one, is just building up that volume, which is really, really fucking important.
Yeah, nice. And that's good. Like that foundational, basically, I guess you'd call it, is just so important as well. And if you are a beginner and you want to get into hiking, or if you want to start hiking with load, or especially if you want to start doing multi-day hikes where this is all going to come into play, like when you have camped the night and you've got to get up in the morning, pack everything away, and then lift that bag onto your back, which is heavy as shit, and you're tired, and you know you want that strength there, you want that assistance, because again, the stronger you are, the easier this kind of stuff is going to feel.
And after that initial phase, we then move into what we call intensification, which is essentially things start to get a little bit more specific. The intensity ramps up, so the reps drop a little bit, it gets a little bit harder, and the exercises do get a little bit harder as well. So the first, one of the main exercises we're then going through is front squats, which are very challenging, but they're great for hiking specifically because not only do they focus a little bit more on the quads, but they nail the core as well because of the position of the bar, which is really important when we're hiking because our posture is important. So we're focusing on getting those postural lifts in. The deadlifts start to get a bit heavier. The farmer's walks get a bit heavier as well. We're introducing a little bit more upper body, and we get to play around with some kettlebells as well, because kettlebells are quite a... hiking isn't always linear in terms of how we're moving. Sometimes we have to go a little bit side to side, walk up over things that are a little bit uneven, whatever. Kettlebells kind of add in that awkwardness, which is great. So kettlebell clean and presses are in there, which adds in a little bit of awkwardness and gets your body moving in a different pattern. So we've got that for our intensification phase. This, I generally find for most people that intensification phase is the hardest phase, because the first 4 weeks is like, oh, new plan, great. Second 4 weeks, that midway phase, is always a bit like, balls, this is like getting tough now.
Yeah, no, that that is very true. It's like you can start to appreciate the way you feel your body moving. I think that the clearest where I've ever experienced this has been in like a powerlifting program or something like that, where I've done like my adaptation phase. I've started to rebuild up the strength and stuff, but then when it starts to get heavy, I'm like, oh god, I've got to do this now. But it's so worth it just because it adds that extra layer of capability to your body, basically. I am going to say I'm going to give away a little bit of the program right now. So
it's brutal.
It is brutal. So on on one of the days, there are barbell front squats, Bulgarian split squats, and front rack cyclist squats all on the same day. So just to give you, if you doubt that you are going to get stronger legs, then don't, because trust me, you are definitely going to get stronger legs.
Yeah, so this is a kind of similar programming I've used for... I've trained a few people who've done ski seasons, and it's a similar programming to that. And it's quite tough, the first like couple of phases, and then it changes a little bit in the last phase. But it's pretty brutal, but like every person I've used this on with who's done skiing, which is very leg heavy, they've come back from their ski season saying their legs were never a problem, which is exactly what you need, right?
I guarantee. You've not been skiing, have you?
Never.
Yeah, no, same here. So we're not qualified to write a ski program, but I guarantee if you're going skiing and you've done this program, you would be a better skier, like without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, as I said, trained a few of them because we've trained obviously a lot of people who go skiing every bloody winter.
Yeah.
And you get used to getting their legs ready. So the last phase is then specification, which is where we start to get a little bit more specific to without having a better word there, but it's also where we add in a little bit more stuff like plyometrics, which is the ability to use explosive force, so jumping, and also throwing in things like sled pushes, because it's a little bit more interesting, but it also adds in that like cardio aspect, a bit more explosiveness, and it switches things up a bit. You've built up a lot of volume over 8 weeks. It's now it's throwing in more real specific functional stuff. The reason I've thrown jumps in there is that there might be times where you have to jump, or maybe you slip and you have to catch yourself, and it's a really functional thing and something we should all be doing and trying.
But what did we have to jump on? What did we have to do? We had to do a jump when we were in Dartmoor, and I can't remember what it was now.
I remember jump over a stream.
Yeah, but there was something else as well where we actually had to jump fully with the bags on. I think it was down onto something. Oh, I remember where it was. It was next to that little hut just after we'd gone past the Oak Tour, and then we had to jump off that thing next to the hut. I think there was something else as well. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I think we jumped a couple of times. Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
But I've got sled pushing there as well. Some more kettlebells, deadlifts, more jumps. The abs start to get a bit harder. And then I've also, on the last day, one of the main exercises, which is, I think, we would probably agree pretty much, is one of the best specificity exercises for hiking, which is weighted step-ups on the box. That's when it starts to get real specific. So that is the 3 phases for the strength program. Challenging, it is challenging, and it is leg heavy, but by the end of the 12 weeks, as I said, you will not have to worry about your legs ever again.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got like everything else that you need for the upper body. You've got your core stuff in there as well to help you, like the support with the bag and what have you. Yeah,
if you're wanting to like max your bench out whilst hiking, this is not the program to be doing. Our adventure strength program that specifically is probably the one you want to be doing, because that's kind of everything. But this is specifically for being able to hike long distances. So we need our legs to be strong and durable, and that means doing a lot of volume in the gym on your legs. So yeah, and it's going to be exceptionally good for those steep inclines as well, which is really important. So on to our next one, which is our hiking endurance plan. Now, this is, as I said earlier, specifically for people that are wanting to improve their cardio for the hikes. So the ability to hike for longer. Okay. Now, this may seem a little weird for some people in terms of what it is you have to do. The first phase is called trail foundations. It's building up the foundations. This is, you're fresh on it, you're getting into it. And there's 3 separate days. There's hill repeats, there's steady endurance hike, and then there's a long hike. And it's kind of how it goes throughout this whole program. Now, the hill repeats is the one that people probably find the most weird. Because if you're used to just hiking from point to point, that's fine. But because this is a specific 12-week program, we want to break down each workout. And the hill, specifically being good at that, is something we kind of want to be able to train. So a hill repeat would literally be walking uphill for a certain amount of time, walking back down. Walking uphill for a certain amount of time, walking back down. I would suggest doing this at a really picturesque place or somewhere real close to your house. We're in Cornwall, so we're lucky there's hills bloody everywhere, right? You've got a hill literally outside your door that you could go out chat.
Yeah, which is brutal. It's how I finish off every single run and walk, and it's disgusting. No, that's really good. I like that. So, also, guys, this is where what Josh mentioned at the beginning, where you've got the supplementary information with the heart rate zones. That's where this is very valuable because Josh has actually laid out what heart rates you should be in for what you're doing on this, and it will really help you progress better.
You'll also find that a lot of the hiking training is predominantly in zone 2. Now, I've been learning more and more about this as I've been kind of learning about programming for ultra endurance stuff, especially listening to Ross Edgley. And he says that most of the training for people doing uber long distance over days, or even just one long day, is they don't want to be getting their heart rate into somewhere ridiculous. They don't want to be up in zone 5 blowing out their ass. They want to be in zone 2 conversational pace for as long as possible. So a lot of the time is spent there when it comes to hiking, because that's pretty much where you're going to be anyway most of the time hiking. You're not really going to be in zone 5 unless you're pumping it uphill with a massive pack up. So, and because you're doing such long days of hikes, potentially 10-hour days, which, I mean, we've done before, if you're in more than zone 2 for 10 hours, that's going to mess you up. Your energy is going to deplete quickly, which I imagine something you, Jack, are having to try and battle with now, training for an ultra marathon, is like being in zone 2 for a long period of time. It's quite tough.
It's interesting because staying in zone 2 whilst running for me right now is nigh on impossible, especially with inclines. Because I've been doing a lot of cycling as well, I'm finding incline running not too bad, so I'm able to pump up. But what I need to weigh up is it worth the fact that by the time I get to the top, I then feel knackered. I can get to the top quick and actually feels good, but then I'm knackered for however long. So what the listener needs to understand is that the trade-off is recovery time. So even if you find it easy to pump it up a hill, you're trading off recovery. And then if you think of it as chiseling away at stone or something like that, you're just chiseling a little bit off, and that's your energy just ebbing away. And yes, you can replace it with carbohydrates and stuff, but it's harder. So like you said, staying in that zone 2 for as long as possible is key to longevity, especially when you're talking multiple hours.
And it can be quite challenging for people who are used to strength training, because strength training is a high tier level of training where it's really intense, or even doing something like HIIT training, CrossFit, all of that stuff, because most of that stuff is at such a high zone. It's like zone 4 or 5, just in really, really intense. So if you're used to that style of training, learning to back off and not be like killing yourself all the time can be tough. Now, with this, I'm still on phase 1 here, but with this, what you need to be mindful of is, because this is for long distance hiking, you need to be able to put some time back. There is always going to be one long hike in this program, and in phase 1 that goes up to 120 minutes, so that's a 2-hour hike, which may seem like a lot of time out of your week, but is not really that long when you think about actual hiking events or hiking feats that you might be trying to take on. So if you're trying to do a multi-day hike, 2 hours is really at the bottom end. But phase 2 is called climbing build, and now this is where we work on getting the pack a little bit heavier. So I forgot to say that day 2 on the steady endurance hike is always with a weighted pack of some kind. Now it's only 5, it goes up to 7 kilos in phase 2. But we also, the uphills increase and the long hikes increase. Everything just starts to increase either in intensity and or time. So as you can see, Jack is in day 1 on the phase 2 is the intensity of the uphills has increased from zone 3 to zone 4. So we're trying to get harder stomps uphills. So push the pace.
Excellent. Yeah. Am I still screen sharing?
No, I'm looking at it as well as you are.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
Don't worry. I've got it up as well.
That's good. No, that's really cool. And it's definitely worth putting in that time. I mean, we are lucky. We live in Cornwall, where we have to walk our dogs every day, so we kind of cover this. I'm always walking with a backpack as well because I'm carrying water and camera equipment most of the time. So, if you can manipulate your day to include this training, then that's a win, especially with the summer we're having right now, right, as well. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And it's something I actually haven't mentioned on the school site, which I probably should, is that it's a good opportunity during this 12-week program for you to test your backpack. So
Good
you've
point.
got from
Yeah, you know all about that, don't you?
Yeah, I do know all about that. So from week 1 all the way through to week 12, you can be trying your backpack, trying the position, trying the straps, what fits well. So it's a good opportunity for you to test that. Yeah, because as we know, when we did our Dartmoor hike recently, I had a backpack that was way too small for me and was brutal. But also, just it was a brutal hike anyway. But yeah, so the last phase is called Summit Peak, because of course it is, and that's where it starts to change up a little bit. We've got the intervals change and they increase, where we do 2 lots of intervals at 2 different zones. So it gets harder, which is fine. It's good for you. And then the pack increases and the time increases at that, but we're trying to stay at zone 2 on those steady endurance hikes. And then the long hike, we get to our longest hike on the program, which is 240 minutes, which is 4 hours.
4 hours, yeah. Yeah, that's good. And that's a good half-day hike, right? That's lush. Like, if you're doing this, do it and have fun. Why not make it a proper hike and go for a pub lunch?
Stroll,
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and it's like, to be fair, when we the Sunday social hikes that I was doing, is that it was about that kind of time anyway. So, and then it ends. The idea is that this ends with your goal hike or a benchmark hike. So whether that is you want to, you're not quite near your goal hike yet. You've booked it, but you're a couple of weeks off. That's fine. Or you've got another 12 weeks. You've just started training really early. That's fine. Then you do a benchmark hike. I would then pick a certain distance in the day. Maybe you want to hike 10 miles, or you want to hike a half marathon just for the hell of it, or you want to hike full marathon, whatever it is, just do a benchmark hike. Or if there's a point-to-point near you that you've been wanting to do for a while, go and do it. And that's the perfect time to do it, just to have a little tester, essentially, at the end of the program.
Yeah, perfect. And that's really good. So basically, you've got all your bases covered here, and then there is a hiking mobility video as well to follow along, because trust us when we say that mobility is an important thing, and it's something that me and Josh are both having a refocus on at the moment, because even we need to up our game sometimes when it comes to certain things. At the moment, mobility is definitely it for me. So Josh, going back to expectations for people, how many days a week? How long are the sessions? How long can they expect to be in the gym for? And what does all that look like?
So in terms of days a week, it's 3 days a week for both programs are 3 days a week. The strength program, it can be anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. And if you're slacking, an hour and a half. It depends how much you want to take your time. There's not I think it's like 6. Let me just top 2, 3. Yeah, it's like 5 to 6 exercises per workout. So it's not loads, and because it can't be, because it's loads of legs. So it's only 5 to 6 exercises per workout. So you could probably get that done between 45 minutes and an hour, which is good. The hiking ones, as I've said, the longer hikes do need more time. But it's a hike, so you don't need to go to a gym, you just go outside, right? And it's a good... The only thing you need to consider is weather, but then just wear waterproofs and test them.
That's it. If you're serious about going hiking, then you're going to have that stuff anyway. So I've got a couple of questions to ask you. First off, if someone can will only pick one of the programs because they're a complete beginner, which one would you suggest starting with?
If they're that's tough. If they're a complete beginner, I would definitely say probably do the endurance one, because that's just going to get you out hiking regularly, because the goal is to hike, right? So it's going to get you out hiking regularly. That's the ultimate goal. And you're going to start building up endurance. You're going to start walking up hills, which is going to start building up some strength in your legs. That's going to get you moving, and that's going to build up that cardio capacity. I think one of the biggest things people worry about when they're beginners and they're hiking is that they're hiking and they always sound really out of breath, right? It's a common thing. People come to me, it's like, oh yeah, but I'm just at the back, like heavy breathing and everybody can hear me. Well, if that's what you're worried about, then that's the program to do, because you will not be doing that anymore. You'll be up at the front with everybody else, and you'll be able to have a conversation whilst you're hiking. So I'd say if you're a beginner, do that first, then go into the other program.
So that's quite interesting. Think about what we were speaking about personally ourselves earlier on. This time of year, 100% agree, hiking endurance program. And then, so what we were talking about is sometimes it pays to look at what athletes do. And, think of yourself as an athlete. It's a strong mental image that you can have of yourself, which is great. It will help inspire you more. And you can use your winter as an off-season. And off-season is usually when people work on building up their strength, like working on their weaknesses. So that's when you can go in a gym and be indoors for working on the strength, and use the endurance when you're outside in the nice weather.
Yeah, it's interesting we're talking about off-season. I sent an email out on Tuesday about off-season training and on-season training, and saying that like when it's on-season, it's about being specific. It's not, we're not doing all the other stuff anymore. We're trying to be really specific, and in the off-season is where we build our strength, we build our muscle mass, we build all of that capacity. But when it's on season, let's get specific. Let's get out there. Let's go hike, pick some hills. So I think, and as I said, gets people used to just actually doing the thing that they're passionate about. And if they're passionate about hiking, you need to get out and hike. So do that.
So next question I'm going to ask is, if someone was an absolute psycho, could they do 6 days a week and day 1 strength, day 2, day 1 endurance, day 2, day 3, like that? So could they do a 6 day a week and use it like that?
Yeah. Yes, no, you can for sure. So, like, for instance, we talked about Sam a lot. He used to train 6 days a week, and he used to do running and strength training at the same time because he was training for a high rocks, and that was very much like that. All you have to make sure you are doing is when you start training loads, you start upping your capacity to training 6 days a week, which is great if you can. You need to be managing your recovery, which is really, really important. So that mobility video, for one, follow that through, do that. It's going to be important because you're going to get stiff. Making sure you're eating enough food. You don't want to be doing that and trying to maybe cut a load of weight at the same time, right? You want to be doing that and making sure you're eating plenty, and it's more than what you think. You're probably going to be eating high 2,000s, 3,000 plus calories a day, and then sleeping well. If you're sleeping 4 hours a night, it's going to be tough. So focus on those things. If you really wanted to push it and do all of it, great, do it. I'm all for it. I mean, at the moment, I'm going to be training at least 5 days a week, I've just got to make sure I'm eating plenty and I'm sleeping well.
Yeah. So what I will say, if you are a beginner, and I would not necessarily be starting at 6 days a week, especially because of the intensity on the legs. So I would say I'm pretty much an advanced lifter at this point, and because I've just started running is a new stimulus for me. I'm not training legs at the moment because I need my legs to recover very well for the next run. After I've done this ultra marathon, I'm going to start training my legs quite hard while still running and build up the adaptation to be able to do them together. But if you want to go out hiking, you want to complete these long hikes, get your body used to doing that. It might only take a couple of weeks because you're not running as such, but there's some intense stuff in there. Get your body used to that first, then you can start adding in the strength training in between as well.
I would say that because it's hiking, it does kind of lend itself to it because it becomes like active recovery for your legs. Because what the problem a lot of people have when they have leg DOMS is they don't move, and it makes it worse. DOMS, for people who don't know, is when your body aches after training. So if your legs are aching, then you want to move, and great, hiking makes you do that. So, it kind of does help itself in a way. But yeah, you want to make sure that your recovery is on form, you're doing your mobility, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And I just wanted to just give a quick aside as well, like something you begin to realize as you start to train more and more is how your body progresses. And if you're already training, if you've already got good self-awareness, one of the key things that you have to understand is what will keep you doing a program. So with some of my clients, I have to change up the program every 4 weeks because otherwise they'll get bored, right? And I do it with the majority of them. But every now and then, I will set a phase, and it's happening right now with one of my clients in particular. We've got a phase that I'm now on week 7 of because she is just getting results. So if you're on one of these phases, maybe not the hiking endurance, but definitely the hiking strength, if you're on one of these phases and you are still getting results from that phase and you're not showing any signs of plateauing, there's nothing wrong with upping it to 6 weeks, possibly up to 8. After 8, I would probably change it anyway. But if you're not getting bored and you're still getting results, you're getting more bang for your buck, because instead of a 12-week program, it's essentially going to be a 24-week program if you've got 3 phases of 8 weeks. So it's, these things can scale to what your capability and what your progress looks like as well.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. I just had training with Sam. He's just done 8 weeks of a program because he was enjoying it and he was getting results out of it. So, if it's working, it's working, and he asked for that. So I was like, okay. Yeah, it saves me having to write more.
Yeah, exactly. And I've done things both ways, right? My current program is going to be leaning into some very long phases, but I've also done 2 or 3 week phases for myself because I wanted that variety. I was getting bored with some of the things, so it works both ways. But I would say definitely give each phase at least 4 weeks, and then if you're still getting results, just push it to the 8 because it makes sense.
Yeah, and also, off the back of this, if you complete this hiking program, what's so good about all these programs is there is something else for you to do. If you decide, I really like hiking, I want to try hiking, I want to try cycling, I just want to get stronger, I just want to improve my endurance, there's another 12-week program for you somewhere. So, you can finish this one and move straight onto another one, or you can just redo it. If you fancy.
Yeah, redoing it is not a problem at all because the phases are different. That'd be great. We also have the Adventure Ready rolling program as well, which gives you a new phase every 4 weeks, but all the previous phases are available as well. Essentially, when you're with us, you get training for life.
For life.
Yeah, it's like for a tenner. Like you are a tenner a month. You are locked in. So that is good. Okay, that's great. Anything else to add, Josh, about that?
No, I think, you want to, as I said, you want to get good at hiking, it'll get you there. Yeah.
And it will make you very capable in other areas of life as well. Strong legs help a lot. So they really, really do. Yeah. And me and Josh, it'd be interesting to see how long we can keep about talking about it. I'm hoping till after September, but we've got some good plans coming up for our winter arc already, which is going to be good. We're looking at some big things for that, which would be good.
I know, because we were talking about earlier. I now want to talk about it all the time. And
I know.
I've got to get through this. I know it's terrible. It's terrible.
So I've got 5 weeks until my run, and then my training is going to change dramatically, so that's good. So but for me right now, focus is on those 5 weeks, and then I will share exactly what that looked like training for me, so it'll be good.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for listening. If you've got this far, that was a big talk about a hiking program. My name is Josh. You can find me at Horizon Coach Josh on Instagram. And Jack, where can they find you?
Jack_Horizon Strength.
There you go.
And then find us on Horizon Strength on YouTube and on Spotify, iTunes, all the podcast places. And subscribe, love us, and
love me.
Love me, please. See this dark room? This is where I spend all my time. Please just share, comment, because all of this stuff helps the algorithm, and we're putting out so much value. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. But yes, we will see you next week.
Talk about something else.
Talk about something else. Yeah.
Sweet. Bye.